What's up guys, it's MC Vapes. Yeah, I know it's been just a little over a year and a half since my last video, so why am I making a video now after all this time? Well, for those of you who want to know why, check out my explanation video by clicking the YouTube card that shows up here, that white bar. And for those of you who are watching this for the Cloupor Mini Plus, I'll see you after the bumper. So when the original Cloupor Mini was released late last year, people soon discovered that there were major overheating problems with the mod that could lead to catastrophic device failure. Now fast forward 6 months or so and the new and improved Mini Plus fixes those problems and adds a few new features without changing much of the Mini's demure outward appearance and keeping the price well below $40. Now the body still sports a slim 22mm thickness while gaining only 1mm over the original to both its width and height, coming out to 37mm and 78.5mm respectively. The finish is still the same baked on varnish paint to minimize scuffs and scratches, and is available in 5 colors including black, silver, orange, pink, and blue. It even comes with a silicone sleeve for added protection and provides a better grip on the device, particularly when you're out and about. The magnetic battery door comes off with very little effort simply by sliding it down to reveal the single battery compartment. While I saw no recommended battery type on Cloupor's website and the manual only indicates a max input current of 12 amps, I still personally recommend only using high discharge batteries with a 2000 mAh capacity or higher. And while rather trivial, the included battery removal ribbon was a nice addition to make removing the battery that much easier. The positive and negative markers are easy enough to read, and in case you insert your battery incorrectly, the Mini Plus does have reverse battery protection. Also included in the packaging is a small container of replacement magnets should you need them. Down on the base is a single vent hole just below the battery compartment and a mini USB port for charging an installed battery using the included USB cable, though I do highly recommend using a reliable external charger instead. There are a number to choose from like the eFast Luck V4, which I personally use, or the popular Nightcore D4. If you must charge it via the USB cable, however, the Mini Plus does have overcharge protection and also has pass-through capability, which allows you to use the device while it's plugged in. Up top, we see a change from the cumbersome manually adjusted center pin in the original to an automatic floating one nestled inside the stainless steel 510 connector, which is still flanked by 4 air slots for atomizers that have air intakes below the base. While it seems unfortunate that Cloupor did away with the brass connector that was in the original, I actually see it as a bonus since it's a lot easier to clean the flat surface of the center pin compared to the threads in the connector to maintain performance in the long run, whereas the stainless steel will only require a few quick swipes of the cotton swab for cleaning. Now going down on one side, we have the primary fire button, the OLED screen, and the 2 up-down selector buttons. To turn the device on or off, simply press the fire button 5 times within 3 seconds. Out of the box, the Mini Plus comes in variable wattage mode, though you can switch to variable voltage or temperature control. To change power mode, simply press and hold the fire and down buttons until the desired mode appears on the screen. In voltage or wattage mode, pressing the up and down buttons will cycle through the power levels in 0.1 increments in wattage mode and 0.01 increments in voltage mode. Unfortunately, the numbers don't round robin like they do on other devices. Power output has been bumped up from a mere 30 watts to a respectable 50 watts for those of you who need a little bit more warmth in your vape. It should be noted that the Mini Plus does use a step up, step down circuit design instead of pulse width modulation for its voltage control. The voltage output range has also widened considerably, with the minimum output going from 3.6 volts down to as low as 0.5 volts. The voltage ceiling, however, still remains the same at 7 volts. To prevent accidental changes to the voltage or wattage setting, they can be locked in by pressing and holding both selector buttons for several seconds. Pressing either button at this point will just display the power locked message on the screen. Hold both buttons down again until the power setting is unlocked to make further changes to the power output. The most anticipated addition to the Mini Plus over the original is temperature control for Ni200 and titanium builds. Now before using the device in temperature control mode, you will want to calibrate it for the type of wire that you will be using, which in turn also reads the current resistance of your atomizer. Ideally, you'll want to perform this when the atomizer is in its resting state. Hold down both selector buttons for about 3 seconds to begin calibrating. By default, it will initially calibrate for NI 200 coils. Just continue holding down both buttons to switch to titanium mode if you're using titanium wire. Once calibrated, the Mini Plus will automatically determine the necessary joules required to reach and maintain the temperature that you've set. Pressing the selector buttons will cycle between temperature ranges ranging from 200 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. To use Celsius, just cycle through Fahrenheit to enter Celsius mode, with a range from 100 to 300 degrees. To return to Fahrenheit, simply go through Celsius and the numbers will round robin back to Fahrenheit. If you want to set a maximum to the amount of joules applied while in temperature mode, press and hold the fire and up buttons for 3 seconds, then use the up or down buttons to set your joules limit. Going below 10 joules will round robin to 50 joules, but going above 50 joules will round robin to auto mode first before going back down to the 10 joules minimum. There are a number of warning messages that can be displayed on the Mini Plus. So when editing this video, I realized that this section was longer than it really needed to be, so I just have here listed all the other warnings and features that the mod has to offer. For such a small device, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed using the Mini Plus, considering I'm more used to dual 18650 devices. In wattage mode, it worked as well as pretty much any other similar device. It wasn't until I switched to temperature control mode that I finally really got to enjoy using the Mini Plus. It maintained that cool vape that I like when I'm using temperature control, and thanks to the dry burn protection, I never got a dry hit even when chain vaping during extended gaming sessions. While you don't get the kind of granular temperature control or potential accuracy you can find in devices driven by Evolve's DNA 200, you will find that the Mini Plus is more than capable of holding its own against other temperature control mods on the market at a fraction of the price. Now, I typically use the Mini Plus at around 75% of its max settings, which means I replace the single 18650 at least once a day, though this is something most vapors should be used to by now. If you're a really heavy user though that always has to vape at extremely high settings, or you just want to have longer run times without having to swap out batteries as often, you may be better off with a dual 18650 device like the slightly larger but lighter, thanks to its aluminum body, Cloupor GT, which has the same features as the Mini but with a higher output, and it's cheaper too. All in all, I've really enjoyed using the Mini Plus. I don't vape much over 30 to 40 watts, so it's more than enough for me most times, though if you're the type that needs more oomph, you may find that you'll need something with more power. I really like its compact form factor, and when paired with a tank like the UL Crown, I'm pretty much set for the day. Now, if you're interested in getting either the Mini Plus or the GT that I mentioned earlier, check out the links in the description box down below. You can order it directly from China or get it sooner from either the US or European warehouses. And using the links below will actually help me continue to bring you more content on this channel. So that's awesome too. Oh, and don't forget to use the coupon codes below to save a little bit more cash on your order. I hope you found this review helpful, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Unless you thought it was total garbage, then throw a thumbs down. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit that red subscribe button to turn it gray. For some reason, doing that will also make like future videos that I upload appear on your YouTube homepage. Anyway, I'm MC Vapes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. God, I hope that was good.